This is a review for the Springfield XDM Elite OSP. All shooting demonstrations are performed in large, outdoor shooting designated areas. Safety protocols are always followed. So in today's video, we're talking about this guy right here. This monster right here is a Springfield XDM Elite OSP. This has the match barrel, suppressor high sights, optics ready. This one in particular has the THICC Dragonfly optic. You have a magwell, enhanced trigger, ambidextrous controls, threaded barrel, and the works. So this thing is like Springfield's pimped out tactical firearm, and it's huge. Look at the size of that grip on it. Just with a full handful, and I have pretty large hands, I still have this much hanging out on the bottom, which is actually nice. I'm a big fan of large guns. I think they're very comfortable as well. So this particular firearm belongs to Tactical Considerations, and he let me borrow it for review. He did over 1,000 rounds through this gun as well. So obviously I know it's got at least that count behind it, but I want to give a big shout out to you, Mike. Thank you for letting me borrow this for review. It's a pretty cool and beefy gun. I did get the opportunity to shoot it already. Let's just talk about it real quick. First thing we're gonna do is go to the tabletop and let's do a quick breakdown for cleaning and maintenance type stuff and look at some of the specific features and parts, and then we'll go ahead and do some shooting. All right, so here it is, guys. This is the Springfield XDM Elite OSP. So I'm gonna go over some of the features with you guys real quick. So this does have a THICC Dragonfly red dot right here, which is essentially Springfield's version of a red dot. It's Springfield's in-house red dot brand. Some other features are optics ready slide cuts. You do have some pretty deep slide serrations, both on the front and back of the slide. You do have a threaded barrel with 1/2 by 28 threads and suppressor high sights. Now what's nice about these sights, this configuration in specific, this is co-witnessed optics, so you can see your iron sights through the window of the THICC red dot. Enlarged magwell. This is a big magwell on this guy. Due to YouTube policies, I can't tell you how many rounds this magazine holds, but there you go. You also have ambidextrous controls on the side, so ambidextrous slide catch, slide release right here. You also have an ambidextrous magazine release on both sides, and your takedown lever is going to be right here on the side. Now, one important thing about these firearms is maintenance and breakdown. And sometimes the handgun can be relatively complicated to break down or might require some kind of a tool or something. This one is not and does not. So in order to break this down for cleaning or maintenance or anything like that, it's pretty simple. What you want to do is take this, pull it back, and lock it back. Then you take the breakdown lever, just slide it up, then release it. And then it slides right off. You don't have to squeeze the trigger to separate or anything like that. And then you can see right inside here, you have your guide rod and recoil spring right over here. And then of course you have your barrel. One thing about this barrel versus non-threaded versions is you do have to take the thread protector off in order to get the barrel out. Once you take the thread protector off, you gotta take this little O-ring off as well. And then the barrel comes right out and makes it nice and easy for cleaning and maintenance. Obviously, simple breakdown. You slide the slide on, pull it back and lock it, then take the takedown lever and move it back to its original position and release it. And then there you go. That's how you take it down for cleaning and maintenance. So right here you have a pretty aggressive but non-abrasive stippling. Your front strap stippling right here doesn't feel too bad. It does seem to be stippled in the right areas. And then your rear stippling is actually pretty effective. This thing actually holds a pretty nice grip and seems to grab your hand pretty well. So not too bad on the stippling side from factory. And overall comfort is extremely comfortable. Let's check that trigger pull while we're at it. And then let's see where we're coming out with the trigger pull. I'm gonna go ahead, rack it back, and yes, we are clear, so we are being safe about it. So right here, I actually have to press in that grip safety right here. About 5-pound trigger pull. Let's see if I can get that, see if I can do that again. 5.7. So yeah, we're sitting at about a 5-pound trigger pull, little over 5 pounds. Now, one thing about the Springfields as well, this guy right here does have an advanced trigger, and it does have a beaver tail safety, and this is pretty common. This is common with all the XD models, is that grip safety. So you have to be grabbing that gun tightly to be able to actually fire the firearm. Some people like it, some people don't. Similar to a 1911. You also have a Glock style trigger safety right in here. So that's what it requires to get it to fire. Otherwise, you don't have a slide safety, frame safety, anything like that. So my overall impressions of this guy right here are actually pretty good. It's comfortable, it's a very comfortable firearm, and it shoots very well also. This Hex Dragonfly optic isn't the best. I've shot with better, but I actually don't dislike it. It's kind of cool. The stippling isn't necessarily cheese grater aggressive, but it's comfortable, and it does have a good texture to it. It feels like in the condition where your hands or your firearm might start getting a little slippery, I would think this texturing should be able to overcome that. The slide serrations are not horrible, and I don't dislike them, but even though they are deep and they provide a lot of space to really grab it, it's still not quite as sharp as I would hope for it to be. Like, I'd maybe make them a little more aggressive, possibly, but that's just a nitpick, and that's more of a preference. I think there is plenty of meat to grab this gun. One thing about the Springfields is they have a very tall slide on them. Even if it doesn't have a lot of slide cuts or serrations, anything like that to grab it, the slide itself is tall enough to get a really good grip on it. Here's the magazine capacity. Per YouTube, I cannot actually tell you how many rounds it holds anymore, but you got an idea. Dang. That's pretty slick. I like that a lot. Overall, I'm a pretty big fan of this gun. I think it shoots really nice. I think there's a lot of cool features about it. The trigger feels pretty good. So the trigger pull is pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and just demonstrate it. We already weighed it around 5 pounds, but so here's your take up right here, and your break is right after that take up. Let's look at the reset. That's your reset and break. Reset, break. So your trigger breaks just after the reset, which is nice. It can make for really fast follow-up shots if you practice that way, if you learn to ride that reset properly. One thing that I'm not a huge fan of with the Springfield, this safety right here. There's sometimes a situation in which you need to fire a gun from an awkward grip, awkward posture, awkward angle. I have not been in one of those situations yet, but same reason I don't necessarily like magazine safety, where the magazines have to be inserted into your gun in order to fire. I don't want something else preventing me from firing a gun if I need to fire it. Safety is right here. I don't mind trigger safeties right here. That actually helps with accidental pressing of the trigger, holstering, stuff like that. But a safety like this, or a safety on the slide or frame, just not a big fan of. But again, preferential nitpicking. One thing to bring up also is you do have a pick rail right here, so you can mount lights, lasers, all that fun stuff. This thing comes loaded with features right from factory. So if you're looking for something that is really tactical, out of the box, ready to go, suppressor, all that stuff, I'd give this guy a look because it's pretty cool. Anyways, comfortable gun though. I really do like it. So again, thank you to Mike over at Tactical Considerations for letting me borrow this guy. Thank you guys. I'll see you.